you're looking for a hard case that can store literally every piece of camera gear you could ever want on a shoot, tripods, the big light stands, gimbals, everything all in one bag, this is it. This is the Nanuk 988. Let's talk about it. In this video, we're going to talk about why this bag is the perfect solution for photo and video, for a one-size-fits-all solution that just fits everything into it you could possibly want and need at a shoot. And I know a lot of you are here for the what's in the bag when I shoot a wedding. We'll get into that a little bit later. First, a quick disclaimer. This is not sponsored by Nanuk in any way. I have been a massive fan of their products for years. I already have bought and owned 2 of their other smaller hard cases. I've had my eye on this one for a while. I reached out at the beginning of the year and they graciously sent this one through with literally no expectations for me to make anything. I am making this video because this solves a problem. I want to share that with you because I think a lot of you will like this case as much as I do. So quick backstory, if you do any form of photo or video production on a set, which involves you taking things like your equipment to somewhere to film, or you shoot events, you often have to bring a ton of equipment with you. Now for the longest time for me, specifically at weddings, but at other shoots as well, I end up turning up with multiple hard cases, a couple of bags to carry light stands because they don't fit in anything else. I'm having to do multiple trips to and from the parking lot, awkwardly carrying things, strapping things to other things, and it's just a pain. Now the big issue that I've always had when trying to find a bag that fits everything is these light stands, specifically the heavy duty ones. The smaller ones, they'll fit in other bags as well, but the bigger, heavier duty ones that don't require you to have to put a sandbag on them so they don't topple over, they don't fit in anything. And that's what's great about the 988, because these big light stands do fit right at the back, just there. Now you've probably heard of the brand Pelican before. They're typically the brand that everyone associates with hard cases. Nothing against Pelican. They make one that's almost identical in terms of dimensions to this one right here. But with the Pelican bags, you can't buy it with the dividers. It can only come in the picked foam format. On top of that, one of the big things that people immediately notice when they see a Nanuk case compared to the Pelican is these latches, because these are far better designed than the Pelican ones because they have a lock on them. With the Pelican ones, you can just pull them and they open. You can't open these accidentally because they have a lock on them. I think it's a patented lock by them. You have to pull this grey bit down and then you can open it up, and then it unlocks. It's a much more secure system, and anytime I show this to people who have had or used the Pelican before, they immediately say, that is way better, and I agree.
Oh, hello, Chris. I'm sorry that I had to pirate into your video like this. I realized you're about to talk about this Nanuk case. Nanuk cases are not good. Come to Faruk cases. Look at this. Faruk cases come in every size. You're traveling? Don't worry about it. I got you. You want this size? I got it. You want smaller size? I got you. You need the lock? I got locks. TSA approved. Faruk cases. Look, I got you. Don't worry about it. Look at this. Look at this. Gigantic case. Look at the... Don't worry about this. Forget about Nanuk. Get Faruk. They're really good.
Faruk is a massive fan of Nanuk cases as well. It's not just me that is raving about these bags. I asked him to record something for this video and I think he nailed it. I've got more from him talking about why he loves these bags a little bit later on, but thank you, Faruk, for being in the video. Let's get back to the video. Sorry for the interruption, but I think it was worth it. As I said, these big light stands, they fit in the 988 with no issue whatsoever right at the back just here. Now, when you buy this bag specifically, you can get it in 3 different varieties. You can get it empty, as in just the plastic exterior case. You can get it with the picked foam variety like the Pelican one, or you can get it with this insert, which is actually one big insert, which does, it's not going to lift out because this is heavy, but it lifts out, and it's Velcro all around the outside there, and it comes with this whole set of dividers which you can change up like you can with any other Velcro style dividers. Now this is obviously vital for us photo and video nerds because we want to make sure that everything is neatly laid out, meticulously organized, so we can kind of satisfy that OCD tendency that we mostly all have. Now I actually went one step further and I used colored gaff tape to label each section. It really does just kind of make it easier when I've had a really long shoot to know where the gears go in. It can put it back in when I'm a zombie without even have to think, oh, where does that go? It just goes in there because I've labeled it. It also helps if you have an assistant or someone shooting with you, second shooter or whatever, and you ask them to go get you a piece of gear, they know where it is. Ask them to go put back a piece of gear, they know where to put it. It just makes things a lot easier throughout the day. Now, the gaff tape that you've got on here right now is orange, and this is it's been through 4 or 5 weddings now, and as you can see, I just actually had to add in one here, but these other ones, they've all been through multiple weddings, and they're all holding up nicely, pulling stuff in and out of them, so it is catching on the gaff tape there, but zero issues with it peeling off. I also like with gaff tape that you can peel it off if you want to, and it doesn't kind of destroy the material behind and rip off all of the lining there. So if you end up getting one of these or have a bag like this and you want to neatly organize it so you know where everything goes, highly recommend colored gaff tape just with a Sharpie on it. Also, other pro tip, put gaff tape on top of your bag. That way it keeps it stick and you don't have to carry a big roll of gaff tape around with you. You can just peel a bit off, tear it when you need it. On the top, on the inside of the lid here, this is actually just foam that you can remove just there. This is really thick. If you were to take that off, you get an added amount of space on the top there, but I do like having that on there. Just make sure that when things are inside, it's all snug and neatly kind of compacted together. The other good thing that I like about this foam on the top here is I put my gimbals in here as well. Yes, it fits the gimbals that I want to use. I just kind of pop them on top there. I put the plate down, it goes into a gap right there, and this closes up, and there's no like pressure on the gimbal because it's just foam. And you can easily seal this up and latch it all the way around. I'm not going to do that right now, but you get the idea. So you can quite easily put things on top there like gimbals. Again, makes it a one size fits all, literally fits everything. Gimbals will go on there, no problem whatsoever. You actually have three extremely durable, heavy duty rubberized handles, which are actually spring loaded. You listen to that thud, how powerful and strong they are. So they're really obviously quite important for when you're lifting the bag up, because this is heavy, and we'll get into that in a bit. Not once have I ever kind of lifted this up with the one handle there and thought, oh, that's not feeling good. Like, they are tough, and I have zero complaints with those handles feeling like they're going to break. On the bottom, which you probably can't see in frame right here, but I'll put some B-roll for you, you have 2 big rubberized wheels. They're kind of like rollerblade wheels, but just a little bit thicker. Now you can actually take those wheels off if you wanted to, and you can put some corner protectors on there instead if you don't need the wheels. I like the wheels because this is obviously heavy, and when I'm pulling it by the one end there, like I'd pull a bag through the airport, the wheels handle everything completely fine. I've had zero issues on concrete, interiors, even on grass, like hilly grass, no issues whatsoever. The only time I've kind of had a few issues would be on gravel or when venues use like stones, and although I can pull it over the top of those, it kind of more drags through there and you can see a trail of where I've been. I would like to see an option to potentially have dog hair all over me, potentially have bigger wheels that would go over that gravel, but that's more of a niche complaint for me, but it's something to be aware of if you are dragging this through gravel like I have to. You also have 1, 2, 3, 4 eyelets, which are quite large, that you can put padlocks through if you wanted to padlock this closed or padlock it to something. Someone can't obviously steal it then or open it up and take things out of it. They're actually lined with metal as well to give them a bit more protection. Someone couldn't just like drill through it easily. Okay, the bit of the video that I know you all want to see. What does Chris bring with him when he shoots a wedding? This is everything I use. Everything has a purpose. If you have any questions, pop them down in the comments below. We'll start on this side with the cameras. So we've got the Sony FX3 with a 35-150, fits nicely in the corner down there. This is typically the setup that I'm running with on a gimbal throughout the whole day. An Anton Bauer battery, which is one of these, that's how it powers the camera. That way I don't have to change batteries throughout the whole day, and I run with one of these mics on top. I have 2 of these, or one's the bigger one, and then that gives me scratch audio or potentially backup audio. The cool thing about the Anton Bauer batteries is it gives you a real-time indication when it's taking power, drawing power, how much it's gonna, like how much longer it's gonna last. Right now it says a percentage, but when the dummy battery's in, it's powered on, it'll say 2 hours left, or typically like 7 hours left when these are good. Mine are quite old now, so they've lost some of their juice, but still work well. Right down here we have the Sony a7R5. With the 24-70 on here, this is typically the camera that I'll use on my hip with the belt that we'll talk about in a bit. Not with the 24-70, normally I'd use the 50, but the 24-70 just fits nicer in there. Right in here I have the Sony FX6. Do you need an FX6 to shoot a wedding? No, I use it for the speeches, for the ceremony, longer form stuff. Do you need an FX6 for that? Absolutely not. In actual fact, an FX6 is more of a pain than anything else because of you have to use the top handle for audio and that kind of thing. Top handle with the extension there from Condor Blue. That is the monitor, the stock one that comes with it. Don't love it, it's not very bright, hard to see on a summer's day. So I typically use an external monitor like this one right here. This is the Portkeys PT6. And I obviously can't forget Gerald's purple cables. Thank you, Gerald. So as you can see, that actually all neatly fits, if I can remember how goes. There's various ways that that'll fit in there, but you can see it's all flush on there. Down in here, the lens that I typically run on the A7R5 because it's amazing handheld, the stabilization, the 50mm f1.2. Right next to that, we have the 35 f1.8. This is typically a lens that I'm using on the FX6 for the ceremony and for speeches because it just looks beautiful. 35mm f1.8 is a really good look. Very stylized for shooting weddings. People want it to look nice. And then down here we have the 7200 f4. This is typically going on my assistant second shooter's camera for the ceremony. Step up ring on there, obviously for ND filters. Right here we have the XLR mic that I use with the FX6. This is the Audio Technica, I believe AT275, the short version. I'll confirm and put that below for you. But the reasoning for this mic is that it's really, really short. So when I shoot MMA and I'm getting close to a cage, you need to get closer, you can blur out the cage. This is short, it doesn't stick out too much further past where the lens is, meaning that you can then see the cage. That's basically the reason I got this, and it sounds really good for the size. Right here we have my lapel audio kit. Oh, we've got some other things in it too. Sharpie, extra gaff tape, my B mic system, and a small rig tool. Why do I have B written on it? Well, everything that I'm using is like my A audio kit has A on it. Everything that's B is the backup, but also A and B. That way I know which kit goes with which and things don't get mixed up. I'd recommend you do the same. Inside my lapel audio kit, I have the DJI wireless mic. You see how it says A on there? A Rode lapel, again, says A on there. Set of Apple headphones, you know what they look like, 3.5mm jack. And then this little kit here, which is how you hide a lapel mic. So I'm actually using a filter case, pink for A kit, don't have the A on there though. Inside here we have a few things. Raya Cote, I never know the pronunciation of that. So these are little stickies. So basically what you do with one of these is you put the lapel mic in the sticky, it's double-sided, that goes under a shirt. It's like a sandwich between that little sticky and then one of these things. This then stops the rustle, potentially any wind, and it's just a nice way to hide the lapel mic. I used to clip them to the outside, but I know how much of a pain that is for photographers, and it doesn't look as nice. It's more professional to have it underneath. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of rustle, but you can easily remove that in post with a plug-in. Right here we have my DJ, as you can see there, soundboard audio kit. I'm actually using a Peter McKinnon tech case for this. Inside here, I actually am quite old school. That's such an old man thing to say. I still use this little guy here, the Zoom H1N. I actually preferred the older model, but that one broke, so I'm using this. That's for my DJ audio. I plug into the DJ's board there for any audio I can get, basically. And I have a grab bag of audio cables there, everything you could possibly need. XLR, RCA, 3.5, all the adapters. And then I also carry a power bank. Power bank then plugs in via USB to the Zoom H1N. That way if the battery does run out, it doesn't matter because it's kind of like hot swappable. If the batteries run out, it uses power from the power bank. Recommend you do the same. You don't want to lose audio in the middle of a speech. Pro tip, garbage bag. If it starts to rain, you can cover things up quickly. Right here, Chris's belt and carry. What's that? Well, that's actually this little setup right here. What this does is when I'm carrying a gimbal, I also want to have a secondary angle sometimes. So, like, say for my A7R5, this will be on my hip. I'll show you a reel I made about this. Stays on my hip the whole day. And then this is a Think Tank strap, which is actually upside down, but it doesn't matter, it still works. And then this is a Peak Design, can't remember the name of it, but I'll put it all below for you. That way I can just carry two cameras, pop the gimbal down, go handheld if I want to. And I find myself going a lot more handheld recently than I used to. Blower under here. Things might get windy and dusty in the summer, so have a blower. Bunch of pills and meds in a little small rig tool pouch there. You don't want to get sick in the middle of a shoot or a wedding day, and if you do, I have everything I could possibly need. Headaches, sickness, Tums, those kinds of things. Audio secondary backup system, Sennheiser AVX. Don't really use this for weddings that much, but it's there as a backup if I need to. These little CRD bags are really useful as well. They zip close and you just can carry different things in them. It comes with these, you can buy these little Velcro kind of tags to change out to. But this one, obviously, as it says, is batteries. I have Sony batteries in here, I have monitor batteries in here, and I have FX6 batteries in here, but I don't really need more than one FX6 battery. A big one will last the whole day. Right here, filters and step-up rings. Also have this little guy right here for white balancing, because weddings can sometimes be notoriously bad for lighting with the up lighting they tend to use. Step-up rings, because all lenses are different sizes And if you want to use them, ND filters, I use Freewell ones because they're more budget friendly. I love Polar Pro ones, but these are more budget friendly. Don't use them so much anymore, but I also have two Tiffin Black Pro Mist 1/8. Moving over to here, drone is less of a thing these days at weddings, but we still have one, the Mini 3 Pro with the remote. This remote is huge because you no longer have to use a phone. And then the Mini 3 Pro itself. See the little sticker on there? Make sure you do that. Why do we use the Mini 3 Pro? Well, essentially 4K 60, and it can go vertical if you want to shoot vertical, like actual proper vertical without having to crop, and it shoots in 10-bit. That's all you need to know. Oh, and you don't really need a license because it's under 250 in most countries. Up here, the whole reason this bag or this video is being made is because of the things that we can fit up here in this long section, which I have configured myself. Now, these little straps come with it and they're really useful for kind of holding this section together and the things in there. Now, I actually use the Aperture 60X for lighting a lot of speeches and occasionally the reception. The reason I use this is because you can power it via V-mount batteries, which I have two of right here, and you can adjust the beam on this to either be a floodlight or a spotlight. Spotlight is very, very useful for weddings, obviously. I'll typically just shine it off to the side and kind of light them, just gives them a bit of definition in really dark environments which tend to get a bit flat. We'll put that down because at the bottom we have the big thing. V-mount batteries, these aren't the most powerful, or they don't have the most juice, but I just really love the way they look, especially on the FX6, but I use them for the lights as well. They're the GDU, aka red batteries. Completely overpriced, but I like how they look. I also have one of these which has more juice in it. It's a ZG Cine V-mount battery. This one's kind of good because it has your D-tap, but you also have two power delivery outputs on there. One to power in, to charge it fast, and then you also have on the side a little indicator there that shows you how much juice is left. Thanks for sending that one through. Moving over to the side here, two tripods that I will typically carry, as it says right there. You see, two V-mounts, two tripods, the 60X and stand. This isn't always the one that I carry with me. This one's good right now. It's the Ulanzi Photo Pro. I mean, you might like this one because you can twist the legs and extend it all the way, close it, and then it's locked. Or you can go a bit shorter, loosen it, bit shorter, and it stays locked to that. So just really quick and easy for putting up and taking down. We don't use tripods that much at weddings, that's why I'm not paying a huge amount of attention to them, but I'll use a slightly bigger one for the FX6 because I need to be a bit more stable. So I use the Benro legs here. I don't know the model. FIF28C, they're old now. And then I have an iFootage head on here. This is the K5S Komodo. This guy right here. And then the big thing for this whole bag, the light stand. Right at the bottom there, tucked away, a heavy duty light stand. I only need one, sometimes I'll take two, but I only need one for the most part, and it fits in the bag so I can have everything in there. Be a good place to end the video here, really, wouldn't it? But it's not the end. The big thing with this is, if you undo it, you see how it's spring loaded? You actually do need to compress it to fit, because if you just leave it, loosen it, and then try and put it in there, see how it won't fit? It's a little bit too big, so you actually do have to compress it. So you just compress it down, lock it off, and then it fits in there perfectly. When you buy this bag like this, if you buy it with the insert, it does have inserts all up here. This is how I configured it so everything fits. All right, let's pack this up and talk some more details about this bag, other things you should be aware of, size, weight, price, those kinds of things. All right, so now we've seen what's inside the bag, a few more details about this that you should know about: interior, exterior, weight, those kinds of things that you might want to know about when you're spending this kind of money, because yes, it's expensive. We'll get into that in a bit. I'll put a link down below to a PDF which covers everything, like a spec sheet of this bag. It's going to give you more information than I'm ever going to be able to give you in a video like this. It's IP67 waterproof. And IP67 essentially means it can go in 1.5, I believe, meters of water for up to 30 minutes with zero issues. So it is technically waterproof for up to half an hour. All right, so the big thing you're probably all wondering after you've seen the pure amount of gear that's inside this is, how heavy is it? I'm not gonna lie to you on this one. It is very, very heavy. I've got to probably guess around 70 or 80 pounds when it's filled with all the gear that I have in it. Now I'm able to lift it up on my own onto the bed of the truck using the handle here. I can lift this handle and then the side handle and just lift it up and ruin my back in the process of doing so. I don't ruin my back, but it can go on the bed of the truck there, no problem. Now, with me telling you that weight, you're going to know better than anyone else whether that's going to work for you or not. It's really only going into the truck, then back out of the truck where I'm having to lift it, or when I'm coming to my studio here, which is on like the 3rd floor and I have to drag it up the stairs. I can do it, but it's just not easy. Now the weight doesn't really bother me because I'm only taking it on and off the truck at an event or when I'm shooting, and then let's say for a wedding, for example, I walk into a wedding for the prep. I'm not bringing this in with me there. It's staying on the back of the truck. I'm going in with a gimbal and a camera. I'm assembling everything on the back of the truck. I also have my belt on with a camera clipped on the side there. I'm walking in, shooting the prep stuff. In 98% of the weddings that we shoot, the location which houses the ceremony and the reception. That's when I'm bringing this out. I'm going to find somewhere safe to leave it during the ceremony, get all the gear out that I need, use it. And once the ceremony's done, I'm packing it up, going to find somewhere at the reception, rolling it all around. It's all in one bag, so I'm not carrying multiple bags, which is the whole issue to begin with. I leave it somewhere safe. I can attach it to something if I want to, lock it up closed, and it's there for the whole day. And that is really, really convenient. Now, there's actually a benefit to it being so heavy here, is because if you are worried about someone potentially stealing all your stuff, yes, it's all in one bag, but this is very, very heavy. No one is picking this up and running away with it. No one is even gonna be able to take this and roll it without someone else seeing it, probably even hearing it in most situations. So the weight actually works in your advantage in this kind of situation. Remember how I also said it has these padlock locations there, so you could obviously padlock it to something in a venue as well. Also, got an air tag hidden somewhere in there, so if it comes out of proximity of where I am, too far away, I'm getting notified. So you know how that works. I'd recommend you do the same with all of your camera bags. Air tags aren't great for like real-time GPS location, but for the proximity factor of when it leaves your vicinity, they are incredibly useful. Size. So obviously it's very large, it fits everything. Now the big thing with the size here is when you're carrying it to and from wherever you're going, is it going to fit in your car? Well, if you have a big SUV, yeah, probably no problem, sideways, so you can still get into it. But otherwise in a car, the seats are going to get folded down. There's no other way it's going to fit. With my Ram 1500 truck, I can have it on the tailgate wide, push it in, pull it out, and I can literally open and close it literally on the tailgate, which is really convenient. So if you have a truck, like a typical 1500 truck, Ford F-150, Chevy 1500, it's going to fit because the beds of the trucks are all typically the same width. So you'll be able to put that way and assemble stuff. Really convenient kind of if you have a truck. All right, the price. Here's the price. It's not cheap. Definitely not cheap, but you don't look at it as I'm spending that much on a hard case. This is as important as all the gear inside here because it protects it. It's all carrying it in one place. It solves a problem for me, the convenience factor, and it's not cheaply made by any means. The price will turn people off, but with the quality that you're getting and the fact that, believe me, because I've searched for it, there's nothing else out there that can solve the problem the way this can with the dividers as well. This is it, the Nanuk 988. Also remember that this is ridiculously high quality. I don't want to get this wrong, but it's made of a resin called NK7. I don't know what that is. It is some form of a ridiculously hard plastic, but without anything in it, the case itself still weighs 24 pounds. To give you an indication of what you're getting in terms of high quality, it's solid. Now also remember, because these are designed for the military, they're designed to fly with no issue, to stack on top of each other with no issue. And fun fact in terms of flying, if it was to go in the hold, if the air pressure in here changed, what could actually happen is this could create a vacuum and you wouldn't be able to open it. It would seal itself closed from the inside because there's a vacuum of air in there that's different to the pressure of the air on the outside. So there's actually these two little valves just here, and these are actually auto pressure valves, and what they do is they allow air in and out to make sure that the pressure is always the same. Moisture, water can't get in and out, but air can, so that's kind of a useful feature. Now my only gripe with this bag, the one thing I wish, and maybe they will, I'm sure there's a way they can do it, the one thing I wish that they had a little bit different other than the wheels is on the top just here, because this is one of their other bags that this is the 935. This is the one that you can use to take as hand luggage if you wanted to. This is one I bought myself a while back. These constantly go on sale on B&H, just to let you know as well. You get these top organizers. Now I have a larger one of these as well, which has a bigger one of these, and these organizers are so useful for cables, for chargers, for batteries, for little accessories that you don't want to have to just kind of throw in here and put inside another bag like I have done. I wish there was a really, really big one that you could put up in here. That would be really, really nice. Maybe in the future Nanuk, maybe you can make one. Now that said, those accessory things that go on the top there, they don't come with the bags when you buy them. Again, it's an additional thing you have to buy, and they're expensive, but again, very useful in terms of like a tool that's solving a problem. So that's the Nanuk 988.
But forget about Nanuk cases. Come get some Faruk cases. Our slogan is don't worry about it. Oh, sorry, the sticker came out. Come get Faruk cases. Okay, joking aside, I really like Nanuk cases, and I've been collecting them from B&H. I've been following the deals like crazy, and I would get them, and sometimes they come in special cuts, like this one was for the Sennheiser. They're so useful. I have almost everything I value in these cases. I like the colors, I like the design, they're very durable, and I really like to take good care of my things. I really baby them, including the cases. So when I took the 935 for traveling, I was really worried if it was gonna get scratched or, you know, the tires were gonna get worn out or something. No, they're really good. I'm really happy with them. The foam inserts are really nice too. You can customize it yourself. This is my action camera case. I have everything in here. A little crowded, but just like that, I keep them safe. Yep, fantastic. I love them.